Good morning, children. We are in the third session of latitudes and longitudes. In first session we learnt only latitudes. In second session we learnt only longitudes. And in the first session we learnt latitudes and 5 important latitudes, equator and other 5 important latitudes we learnt. Here in the second session we learnt longitude. Other name for longitudes are meridians. And 0 degree prime meridian is important meridian I told you. And this prime meridian divides the earth into two hemispheres, that is eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere. And one more important longitude we learn, international dateline. 180 degree longitude is known as international dateline. Today we are going to learn longitudes and the time. And in previous class we learned grid also. Grid help us to locate a place on the globe, whereas longitudes help us to know the time of a place. In other words, longitudes help us to determine the time of different places on the globe. Now let us learn about longitudes and the time. Longitudes and time. We are going to learn this topic today. Before going into this topic, I want to recap previous topics. Horizontal and vertical imaginary lines on the surface of the globe help us to locate a place. We learned that longitudes are semicircles which run from North Pole to the South Pole on the globe. We learnt 0 degree longitude is known as prime meridian, and the other name for prime meridian is Greenwich meridian. Why do we call Greenwich meridian a prime meridian? Otherwise, why prime meridian is called Greenwich meridian? Because the Greenwich meridian passes through the British Royal Observatory at Greenwich near London. That's why it is called Greenwich meridian. We learned other important longitude, that is 180 degree longitude. The other name for 180 degree east and the west longitude is international dateline. International dateline is the same dateline 180 west and the 180 is the same longitude and is called the international dateline. Let us learn about longitude and time. Longitudes help us to determine the time at a place. That means each and every longitude help us to determine the time of that particular area. As you know that the earth rotates from west to east. We learnt that the earth rotates from west to east or an anti-clockwise directions. I want to ask you one question. How many longitudes were drawn on the globe? Yeah, there are 360 longitudes were drawn on the globe. And we learned that the earth rotates on its axis from west to east. While the earth rotating, when the earth rotates, each and every longitudes come opposite to the sun. While the earth rotating, I am saying. So when each and every longitude come opposite to the sun, that particular part of the earth will have midday. Otherwise, that particular meridian will have midday. They will receive the sunrise midday, middle of the day. That means all places to the east of a particular meridian will have sunrise earlier and all places in the west will have later. Children, all of you look at on the slide here. All the places to the east of a particular meridian will have sunrise earlier and all the places in the west will have later. I want to say you one important point. Geographers have divided the entire globe into 24 time zones, each spanning 15 degrees. You have to remember that Earth takes 24 hours to complete one rotation of 360 longitudes. This means that the Earth spins 15 degrees in 1 hour or 1 degree in 4 minutes. Why do Earth takes 24 hours to complete one rotation? Children, you may be getting doubt. Why do we have 24 hours a day? Why don't we have 30 hours a day? Because as I told you, there are 360 meridians. All these 360 meridians takes 1440 minutes to complete one rotation. That means the Earth takes 1440 minutes to complete one rotation. That means while rotating, each longitude takes 4 minutes of time to come across the sun. In other words, the Earth takes 4 minutes to rotate 1 degree. The time difference between two consecutive meridians is 4 minutes. When you calculate 4 into 360 or 360 meridians into 4, you will get 1440 minutes. That means that the Earth takes 1440 minutes to complete one rotation. That means 24 hours. International dateline, the 180 degree longitude, is also called international dateline. It is very important longitude. Day and date changes at the international dateline. Crossing the international dateline from east to west, a traveler will add or gain a day. While crossing it from west to east, he will subtract or lose a day. The international dateline is not straight one. The international dateline does not cross any major landmass. It zigzags to avoid crossing a country or major group of islands. This is drawn so to maintain the same date and day at one time. Children, let us learn Indian Standard Meridian. You don't have this topic in your textbook or in your lesson. I want to give you information about this Indian Standard Meridian. Let us learn about Indian Standard Meridian. We learned that there are 360 meridians. 82.5 degree east longitude is known as Indian Standard Meridian. We learnt in the previous class latitudinal and longitudinal extent of India. In that I told you, our country India is in northern hemisphere and it falls in the eastern hemisphere. That's why 82.5 degree east longitude is taken as the standard meridian of our country. You can see on the screen or you can see on the slide 82.5 degree east longitude drawn on the center of the India map. You can see this meridian is taken as Indian Standard Meridian. the center of our country India, a meridian is drawn, that is 82.5 degree east meridian is taken as the Indian standard meridian. Longitudinal extent, you can see India is located from 68 east meridian to 97 degree east meridian, but whereas the center of India, that which latitude pass through the center of India, that meridian is taken as the Indian standard meridian. 82.5 degree east longitude passes through the Mirzapur near Allahabad. This meridian is taken as the Indian standard meridian. Now let us learn about Greenwich Mean Time and Indian Standard Time, that is GMT and IST. These two topics were not given in your textbook. Just for information I am giving you. Greenwich Mean Time you already learned, 0 degree meridian, and IST Indian Standard Time, that is 82.5 degree east longitude we learned. The time difference between Greenwich Mean Time and the Indian Standard Time is 5.5 hours. That means 5 hours 30 minutes. That means when 12 a.m. at Greenwich Mean Time, we have 5:30 a.m. in India. That is the time difference between India and the Greenwich Meridian. Children, now it's time to recap our points, whatever we learned today. Longitudes help us to determine the time. The Earth takes 1440 minutes to rotate all 360 meridians. The Earth takes 4 minutes to rotate 1 degree of longitudes. The time difference between each longitude is 4 minutes. Geographers have divided the entire globe into 24 time zones. Day and date changes at the ideal. Crossing the ideal from east to west, a traveler will add or gain a day. While crossing from west to east, he will subtract or lose a day. And very important point, that is 82.5 degree east longitude is taken as the Indian standard meridian. This meridian passes through the center of India. That's why it is taken as the Indian standard meridian. The time difference between the Greenwich Mean Time, that is prime meridian, and Indian Standard Time is 5.5 hours. In other words, the time difference between the Greenwich Mean Time and the Indian Standard Time is 5 hours 30 minutes. Now, let us see a video to recap all the points whatever we learned from the day 1 to today. And before showing the video, I want to remind that regarding the assignment, I am going to give you assignment. Draw the earth and mark important latitude, and draw the earth and draw the standard meridian of
Hello friends, today we'll learn about the latitudes and longitudes of the Earth. Have you ever wondered how the location or position of any place is determined? Let me explain this. Whoa, it looks so yum! Our Earth looks like an orange. It is spherical from the sides and flat at the top and bottom. The latitudes and longitudes are invisible lines that help us identify a place using geometrical coordinates. An easy way to remember the orientation is that latitudes are lateral, and and longitudes are long. Let's learn about them one by one. At first, latitudes. Latitude lines circle the globe in east-west direction. It measures how far north or south a specific point lies from the equator. They're also known as parallels. The equator at 0 degrees separates the Earth into northern and southern hemisphere. Locations to its north lies in between 0 degrees north to 90 degrees north, while to its south the positions are between 0 degrees south and 90 degrees south. The distance between each degree of latitude is approximately 69 miles. And now the longitudes. Longitudinal lines run from the North Pole to the South Pole. It measures how far east or west a point lies from the prime meridian. These are also known as prime meridians. Longitudes can vary from 0 degrees to 180 degrees east. The distance between longitudes at the equator is the same as latitude, roughly 69 miles. At 45 degrees south or north, the distance between is about 49 miles. The distance between longitudes reaches to 0 at the poles as the lines of meridian converge at that point. Now we'll see some of the notable latitudes and longitudes. The most important of these are the equator and the prime meridian. The equator is a line passing through the center of the Earth and is considered as the reference point for latitudes, whereas the prime meridian is a line passing through Greenwich, England, and is considered as the reference point for longitudes.